Hey everybody, and welcome back to Slowpoke Racing and to the Ultimate Racing League, sponsored by Eldridge Air Conditioning. We are with our Sunday Championship drivers, and this is the AM2, and this is race 2 of round 3. We are over in Switzerland on the fictional track of Deep Forest Raceway, 2.6 miles and 18 turns of tarmac ahead of us. Great racing in race 1, some brilliant battles taking place. Which saw Bandit actually, romp home with it. He started on pole and never looked back, and looked unstoppable. Although this time around he is going to have to start at the back of the grid. This race does require a mandatory pit stop. It is racing hards and mediums to be used for at least 2 laps, I think. I can never remember if it's 2 or 3. As long as the guys know, it doesn't really matter if I know. So let's have a look down the grid, shall we, and then we'll get this race underway. Oh, I need to get the right camera, I keep pressing the wrong button. So Sid the Sloth then is on pole position with Addy just behind him in second. Castrian is third, Hawkeye fourth, Flash fifth, Steel is sixth, Firepower seventh, Smith is eighth, and Bandit is ninth. So we have lost somebody. Can't remember who it was, it'll come to me, I am sure. So we're just down to 9, unfortunately. That is a shame, but never mind. Some good racing ahead of us, I'm sure. So let's just crack on as Sid waits for those lights to go out. And there we go, we are off and racing as we head down towards turn 1. And Sid leads us into turn 1. Is Addy going to make a challenge? No, he's not. He's just going to follow Sid around, and Sid takes us through the first corner then, all very safely. Addy just kicking up a little bit of dirt. Sorry, I thought I got rid of this. Oh, but I haven't. Addy really putting the pressure on Sid the Sloth very early doors as they go through turns 2, 3 and 4. Into the right-hander of turn 5, into this very short tunnel. Sid the Sloth has a bit of a swipe at Barrier there, but managed to keep it facing the right way. Castrian having a look at the inside of Addy as they come out of the bridge. Into turn 7, 8 and 9. It is Hawkeye sitting there in 4th, and very small gap then back to Flash. Steel in, what's happened there? Smith has moved up into 6th, Steel in 7th. Then we've got Firepower in 8th and Bandit in 9th. So we'll have a look at the tyres in a minute as Sid comes under attack from Castrian as they come out of the first of the long tunnels on this back straight into the second tunnel. Castrian with about a bumper in front of Sid the Sloth, but Castrian does hold that inside line. We can just see behind him we've got Addy and Hawkeye having a bit of a ding-dong as well as Hawkeye. Oh, Hawkeye goes very, very deep into turn 14. Now then, who's come out in front of this? Castrian still alongside Sid the Sloth. Sid has managed to get himself back in front again, but Castrian is just going to pick up the slipstream. Hawkeye in 3rd then. Hawkeye just having a bit of a sniff up the inside of Castrian as they come through turn 18 onto the home straight again. Heading down the hill, it is almost going to be 3 wide. No, Hawkeye has managed to slot back in again. Castrian on the inside. A lot of grip on the outside though as Sid goes looking for it. Has he found it? No, he's not. Castrian manages to get himself in front with Sid drop down into 2nd. Hawkeye having a good old sniff around. He wants P3. Flash is in there as well, looking at trying to get him to a position on the podium very early on. A lot of racing to be had though, guys, so remember, keep those elbows in. So far it is all good, clean stuff. Still side by side is Sid and Flash. Sid getting right in amongst the action very early on as he now drops down to 6th. Where's he gone? Where's Sid gone? What? Well, I'm not quite sure what happened there, but as I say, Sid is right in the mix of it. Castrian getting himself a little bit out of sorts. Hawkeye slips up the inside of Sid. Flash having a bit of a look as well. There was a slight touch there between the two of them. Pinball, it's pinball. Sid being fouled. Yeah, oh, it's all gone wrong. Was a bit of pinball. I think Sid slowed down because he caught Addy. That's what that was all about. Excuse me. But poor old Sid all the way from P1 down to P9. in a matter of a couple of turns. It really was pinball in there for him, wasn't it? Out in front though, it is Castrian now, the new leader of this race. Castrian had a great start to race one, but it all came unstuck for him at this turn actually. He just got on the power just a little bit too early. The back end decided to come round, and that was pretty much race over for Castrian, but he got through there okay this time around. Hawkeye following him through in P2. Then we've got Smith in P3. Had a good race, didn't he, in race one, did Smith. He'll be looking to keep that momentum going and get himself back up on the podium again in this race. Bandit is in. Now he did this at Brands Hatch, didn't he, Bandit? He came in at the end of lap 2, the start of lap 3. He did it very early on then. Now then, Deep Forest is a bit of a longer track, I think. So, I'm not sure actually. I can't remember how long Brands Hatch is. But it's going to be a case of keeping an eye on the fuel for Bandit as we're following Flash and Steel through in 4 and 5. Firepower sitting there in P6 at the minute. Oh, Firepower with a 1 second penalty. That is not what he needed. He's trying to stay in touch with the group ahead of him, but that 1 second is going to hurt. It shouldn't cost him too much. It won't cost him track position actually, because I think Addy is just too far back. But it will help him lose touch of this group in front, which, as I say, is not what he wanted. He is on the hard tyres as well, his Firepower. We'll just stick with him until he finishes paying this penalty, and we'll see what kind of damage it has caused. Down into turn 14, yeah, you can see the rest of the group are already there. Flash, well, Flash really slowing down, trying not to make contact with Steele. You can see Steele coming. Now that compromised his entry into turn 14, and that's allowed Firepower to creep up alongside of him now. So Firepower and Flash are going to go side by side, as pretty much as they did in race one. Oh, contact was made. I don't think Flash realised that Firepower was there. Maybe the radar not being used. But I think that caught Flash out. He wasn't quite prepared for Firepower to be there that quickly. And Firepower now moves up into P5 with Flash trying to fight him back. But Firepower finding that grip there on the outside of turn 1. Let's have a look, see what's happening back at the top. Castrian not opening a big enough gap up, and Hawkeye all over the back of him. Let's jump on board with Hawkeye as we come out of the bridge and we go into turn 6. And Hawkeye definitely having a good old look at the inside of Castrian, isn't he? Castrian doing absolutely everything he can to make that Corvette as wide as it can possibly be to stop Hawkeye going through. Into turn 10 they go then. Hawkeye trying to keep the pressure on Castrian. A quick look behind us, and that's what we see. We've got Smith and Steele and Firepower chasing us down through the first of the tunnels into the next tunnel, through the penalty zone. Nothing to be served here this time around. As we head towards turn 14, Castrian hogging the middle of the track, really trying to make himself as wide as possible. Hawkeye, nice tight line into turn 14, looking for a good exit as Steele tries to make the move on Smith. Smith just ahead of him. Got a good little battle taking place just behind for P3 as Smith has now decided to come into the pits. So Smith on the hard tyres has said he's had enough, and he's going to get some mediums put on. Castrian on the medium tyres, so he's going to go as far as he can into this race. Hawkeye on the hard tyre. Ooh, now then, what happened there? I just took my eye off the ball just for a split second, and we nearly had a collision. So let's get a decent camera angle and we can see what happened. Castrian with 3 or 4 car lengths gap between Hawkeye. As they come across the start finish line, we were looking at Smith going into the pits, weren't we? Now then, what happened? Did Castrian just forget to put the brakes on? Yeah, he was very late on those brakes, wasn't he? Oh, and that nearly took the front end of Hawkeye off. I think it caught Hawkeye out. Really upset his rhythm. Maybe that's just the line that Castrian likes to take. But it caught Hawkeye out. He's picked up half a second. He's lost the position as well. He will be absolutely furious. Not that Castrian did anything wrong there if it's just the line he takes. But as I say, I think it just caught Hawkeye out. So a quick look behind us, and do you know what? I think unfortunately Flash may well take full advantage and move up into P3. So when Hawkeye serves that penalty, Flash trying to get as close as he can. He's even going to have a look before they get to the penalty zone. Firepower's in there as well. Hawkeye, you can see the bar starting to fill up, so that penalty is about to be served. Flash will definitely go through. We'll stick with Firepower though to see whether he goes through as well as the penalty is served. There we go, yes, as Flash and Firepower go through. Firepower dives to the inside. Is he going to have a look at Flash as they get towards turn 14? No, not quite close enough. So Hawkeye now down to 5th, having served that penalty. And Firepower decides he's had enough of the hard tyres, so he's coming in, fresh set of boots for him, a splash of fuel. Addy goes through and into P5. Addy on the hard tyres, he's staying out, so he's decided he's going to go a little bit deeper into this race. Let's have a look at the tyres, shall we? I don't know if I've done that. Castrian on the mediums out in front, Steele on the hards. Great racing from Steele at the minute on those hard tyres, holding on to P2. He has got Flash all over the back of him. Flash on the mediums. Hawkeye on the hard tyres, staying out just a little bit longer. Addy on the hard tyres. Then we've got Sid on the mediums with Bandit on the mediums, having made his stop at the end of at the end of lap 2. So Bandit now playing catch up in 7th, although he's got a purple sector. Has got the fastest lap of 1:36.4. Look very convincing. Ooh, a bit of a slide, bit of showboat in there as we come out of the tunnel at turn 6. But Bandit now playing catch up in 7th. Knows the guys ahead of him have got to stop. We've got Smith on mediums and Firepower. Ooh, that is going to hurt. 3-second penalty for Firepower. That has got to be pit lane infringement. So he crossed the white line, either going in or coming out of the pit. It is very, very cruel. I really think they should turn these pit lane infringements off. But poor old Firepower there in P9. Going to serve his 3-second penalty. It's not going to compromise his track position because he's last. So that's not going to help his cause. Although a lot of the guys ahead of him have yet to stop. We can see Addy is into the pits now. You can see the crew there, look, like coiled springs, ready to pounce as they wait for their driver to pull into that little garage of theirs. But the guy with a gun looks very bored, doesn't he? He's like, he's wondering if Addy's got lost. No, here he is. He is in. And yeah, there they go. Not quite F1, is it? But Addy will be thumping that steering wheel, telling him to come on, hurry up and get me out on track again. And there we go. So Addy back out on track. Rejoins in 9th behind Firepower, but stop done on the medium tyres and enough fuel to take him to the end of the race. Back up to our current leader is Castrian. He's not stopped yet. Just about half a tank of fuel for him. And we are on lap 7, so not far off halfway. So when Castrian comes in, it will just be a splash of fuel, just enough to get him to the end of the race. Some paint missing from the rear quarter of that Corvette. So when is Castrian coming in? Well, he's on the medium tyres. He'll want to take them as far as he can, surely. Maybe looking at around about lap 10, 11 for Castrian. He's going to keep going. He wants to get that gap as big as he can back to Steele. Well, it's definitely going to get big now because Steele is coming into the pit. So Steele into the pit to get rid of the hard tyres. Flash is staying out. He's on the mediums. And let's have a look, see what the gap's like. Well, it's a decent gap. I wouldn't say it's enough for the pit, but Flash has got a pit as well, which is all in Castrian's favour at the minute. Sid now moves up into P3 with Bandit chasing him down in P4. Last time we saw Bandit, he was down in P7, wasn't he? But he has pitted very early. He did this at Brands Hatch, he pitted very early, and we were worried about the fuel situation for Bandit, but he made it to the end of the race. so he can obviously manage the fuel. So it's going to be interesting to see how he gets on here. He's all over the back of Sid. Sid on some worn medium tyres, although they don't look too bad, but obviously Bandit changed his tyres and they are fresher, so it is only going to be a matter of time, I think, before Bandit makes his move and goes up onto the third step of that podium. And it's probably going to be coming very soon now as we get onto this back straight. A flash of the lights there from Bandit just to let Sid know that he's there. I don't think, to be honest, that Sid is going to put up too much of a fight. He knows that Bandit has got fresher tyres. Down into turn 14 they go. Bandit on the inside. Sid, well, is he looking for the cutback? No. Very cautious through there. Didn't want to have a coming together, and Bandit now moves up into P3. Sid into P4. Is he staying out? Yes, he is. So Smith in 5th. Then we've got Steele, Firepower. Oh, another penalty. Really is collecting them this time around. Is Firepower. He had 3 seconds when he came out of the pit. Now he's picked up another half second. Really doesn't want to get on the podium, does he, this time around? We have got Addy in 8th. He has got a mirror full of Hawkeye. Hawkeye really does like to get stuck in and have a battle with these guys as they cross the line to start lap 9 of 15, as Hawkeye goes up the inside, but he cannot get that car slowed down enough, or can he? Has he found the grip? No, he hasn't. Addy just stuck to his line and just goes on through. Hawkeye just a bit too quick into turn 1, couldn't get the car slowed down enough. It was a good effort, but you need to get the car slowed down, which is what he didn't do, unfortunately. So back down to 9th, but they both lived to fight another day, so Hawkeye is going to be pushing again. Good little battle raging at the back here between these two. Everybody else, if you look at the map at the top right, is all pretty much spread out. We've got Castrian out in front. As it starts to get dark now, the headlights are on. Castrian picking up a 1 second penalty, and yeah, somebody's started to switch the lights out. It's getting dark out there. So Castrian with a 1 second penalty will not affect his track position. Flash is just too far behind. Neither of these two guys have pitted yet. Bandit, however, has pitted and currently sitting in P3 with 5 laps to go. It's going to be an issue of the fuel again for Bandit, so he does need to keep an eye on it. He must have practiced this race and he must know how many laps he can get out of that tank, but he really does need to keep an eye on it. Currently has the fastest lap, a 1:36.4. Last 3 laps have been in the 1:37s, and he's pushing again this lap. I think he just needs to take his time. Let's have a look. Where's Castrian? There's Castrian, the little red triangle on the map, and then if we go down to Bandit. Bandit's coming around turn 10 as Castrian getting closer to turn 14. Now then, when Castrian comes into the pit, I think Bandit is close enough to take the lead of this race. It's going to be interesting now. I did say a bit around 10, lap 10 or 11 for Castrian. He's staying out this lap. He's got to pit at the end of lap 13 if it is 2 laps on each compound tyre minimum. So Castrian just going to take those mediums as far as he can. Quarter of a tank of fuel, so it's going to maybe the fuel that's going to force him in. Going to be the same for Flash. He's got slightly less fuel, but in his mirrors he's going to be able to see Bandit there in 3rd. Sid in 4th. He's on about quarter of a tank of fuel as well, and what, that front right, about 50% wet for Sid the Sloth, but a good race for Sid the Sloth actually. He must be out there enjoying himself. Currently in P4, yet to make a pit stop though. Smith, he's made his stop, holding on to P5 at the minute. Then we've got Steele in 6th, Firepower in 7th, no penalty this time. So clean lap so far for Firepower. Then we've got Hawkeye in 8th, he's managed to get by Addy in 9th. I'm still trying to work out who it is that's missing. I've forgotten. I do apologise. I'm sure we started with 10th in race 1. So race leader Castrian staying out still as it comes across the line to start lap 12 then. 4 laps to go then for Castrian, who's not made a pit stop yet, although that is quite a good decent gap now back to Flash in 2nd. He's got Bandit all over the back of him. It looks like as well Flash has picked up half a second, so just jump on board with Bandit. As we come down the hill towards turn 1, there's Flash just ahead of us. Excuse me. Bandit opting to take the tight line through turn 1. Got a decent exit as well. Better tyre grip, and he's on to Flash as quick as a flash. Through turn 5 then, through the little tunnel into turn 6. Bandit just going to bide his time, I think, through turns 7, 8 and 9. Looking for a decent exit out of this turn here at turn 10. Ooh, wrestling that Corvette is Bandit to keep it straight. Now with his foot on the noisy pedal into the slipstream, he knows Flash is going to serve that penalty, so Bandit should move up now into P2. Flash sticking to that inside line, you can see the brake lights flash on then as Bandit goes sailing through into turn 14 and moves up into P2. Castrian, well, a long way up ahead. Besides, he's still staying out. His Castrian is going to take that those medium tyres as far into this race as he can. Bandit just needs to keep an eye on the fuel tank. He's got under a quarter of a tank left. Flash has decided enough is enough. He's into the pits. Well, the fuel's pushed him in there. You can see the fuel light flashing for Flash. Castrian though, he's well, the fuel light is on for him as well now, so Castrian is going to have to come in at the end of this lap. Bandit, is he going to be fuel saving? Short shifting is the usual way of doing it. Some of the guys like to use the fuel map and crank that up. Personally, I like to do the short shifting method, and it looks like Bandit is doing exactly that. Yeah, he's just short shifting a little bit. Now then, Castrian, where is he? He is just about to go through the last of the tunnels. Quite a distance between himself and Bandit, although, having said that, I think it has closed up. It was nearly the full length of this back straight, but I think Bandit shaved a little bit off for that. He has got the fastest lap of 1:36.4. Castrian's last lap was 1:37. Well, he's been steady in the 37s, hasn't he? And into the pits he comes, if he can find them. There we go, Castrian into the pits then. So Bandit around turn 14. Fuel not going into the car, so Castrian not at the pit crew yet as Bandit goes through the final couple of turns, through turn 17, then into turn 18 and head on down across the start finish line. Again, Castrian, he's just reached the pit crew now and getting a fresh set of boots on as Bandit takes the lead and goes down towards turn 1, and Castrian, he does take a splash of fuel and back out, but he's come out behind Bandit. Bandit now the new race leader, Castrian out in 2nd, decent gap back to Smith in 3rd. And it looks like it could be these three on the podium as we start lap 14. So Smith just holding on to P3. He's got quite a nice breathing space back to Steele, although Steele pushing hard to try and catch up to the back of Smith. Then we've got Firepower in 5th, hoping for a mistake again. He was gifted a podium at Brands, wasn't he? And he'll be hoping for pretty much the same thing here today, that one or two of the guys up ahead of him make a mistake and he can capitalise on it. He's just going to keep pushing, trying to chase up to the back of Steele, trying to force a mistake from him. But he could really do with two of the guys ahead of him making mistakes, so having to come in together. Can't see that happening because they're not close enough, are they? Bandit out in front with a decent gap back to Caspian in 2nd, Smith in 3rd, then Steele in 4th, Firepower, Hawkeye in 6th. He's got himself ahead of Addy in 7th, Flash in 8th, with Sid in 9th, and I still cannot remember who it was that we've lost. Yes, I can. It was Live X. So it must have been a mechanical breakdown or something in between the two rounds, but he couldn't get himself back onto track, which is a shame. So out in front then, Bandit, looking for win number 2 here in Deep Forest. Well, the fuel light is on. He's on his final lap, but he really has got to keep an eye on that fuel gauge. He doesn't want to run out of fuel. Castrian will be onto him. I think Castrian is pushing hard and closing the gap. They are on the final lap, lap 15 off 15. Castrian going to get himself onto the podium, but he can see the rear lights of Bandit in front of him. Now then, he will be being told by his pit crew that Bandit is running out of fuel and he's having to do a bit of fuel saving. Bandit just tries to maintain that gap between himself and Castrian. He may just about do it. It's going to be the fuel that is the big issue here. Bandit needs to be careful. Oh, he's got to sip at it. He's telling that Corvette, just sip it, don't gulp it down, you just sip, sip, sip. That's what he needs to do. He is approaching turn 14 for the final time. Castrian is closing every yard or two. Castrian is getting closer and closer and closer. The fuel light is on for Castrian, but he can give it the beans. He's got more fuel than Bandit has. Bandit is running on fumes now as they go through the final couple of turns. This is going to be such a close finish. Oh, and Bandit has run out of fuel. Bandit has run out of fuel. Now then, can Castrian capitalise on this? Is he going to roll down the hill? Is he going to get there? No, Castrian has just pipped Bandit at the post to take the win. Bandit ran out of fuel. Smith across the line in 3rd. Steele finishes in 4th. Firepower 5th. Hawkeye will finish in 6th. What a dramatic finish to this race. As Bandit runs out of fuel. Addy will cross the finish line in 7th, Flash across the line in 8th, with Sid just approaching turn 14. What a shame for Bandit. We did call it, didn't we? We said with the pit stop a little bit early, he was always going to be keeping an eye on the fuel. What a shame just to get pit, but great win for Castro, and he didn't give up, did he? Kept going on his return to the track, so well done to him. Great racing all round as we follow Sid across the line. Well, we're all caught up now for these guys. It is just round 4 now for them at Lego Maggiore, which was raced tonight, so we'll be looking at bringing that to you over the next day or two. Thank you very much for watching. I should catch you all soon, and again, apologies for all the coughing all the way through it. I'm hoping it's going to clear up in time for the next couple of rounds. Anyway, I shall catch you all soon.